Before we get into today's edition of Just the Truth, Mike Lindell sent me a note yesterday. He has a special for the 6-piece towel set, $25 when you use promo code Joey. Just go to mypillow.com, use promo code Joey. You'll get the $25 offer on the 6-piece towel set, and I promise you, these will be the most comfortable, the most absorbent towels that you own. mypillow.com, use promo code Joey, get the 6-piece towel set for just $25. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studio. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. Everybody's still talking about Tuesday's debate, and we have more debate analysis along with some of the first polling results after this week's debate. Spoiler alert, it's not as bad as the media would like us to think. Governor Mike DeWine deploys state troopers to Springfield, Ohio, despite ABC claiming in the debate Tuesday that all is well there. You're going to want to hear the latest on this story. And election officials have a dire warning. Widespread U.S. mail problems may disrupt voting in November. How convenient. Finally, federal officials say that election certification will take place with tighter security at the Capitol after the attack in 2021.
I told you we'd be back.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
It's Joey Hudson.
I wanted to name it the Joey Hudson bill, but, they don't allow you to put names on bills. But I wanted to call it the Joey Hudson bill because I know that one's been near and dear to you for a number of years.
That's how it's done. Let your voice be heard.
And the truth shall set you free.
Here's Joey Hudson.
He spoke facts. She just basically repeated everything that Biden has said in the past.
What were your thoughts?
She made, Donald Trump made a strong closing statement by saying, why didn't they do all the things that she's proposing during the 3.5 years that they've been in office? And Biden did this entire moderate stance back in 2020, and she's trying to do it again in 2024, but she didn't talk about her policy changes between 2020 and 2024. Her whole centrist moderate stance is just a facade.
That was a group of Pennsylvania voters participating in a CBS News post-debate focus group, and this appears to be reflective of other similar type focus groups as we're beginning to get polling numbers and focus group results from this week's debate. Some of those polling numbers and some of the focus group feedback that we're getting is good news for Donald Trump. Trump may not have damaged himself as badly as initially thought. Now, over the past 24 hours or so, there's been a lot of post-debate analysis of how well Kamala Harris did, how bad did Donald Trump do. Many people are admitting that they wish Donald Trump had taken advantage of the national exposure offered to him on this ABC debate. The media is definitely all in, declaring Kamala Harris is the winner. But what matters, and this is the big one here, what matters is what voters think, and we're seeing some interesting response here, both in the polls and in some of these focus groups. There's some interesting results. For example, while the CNN poll says that Harris performed better, Trump came out ahead in the most important categories. On the economy, which we know is the biggest issue that Americans are facing today. He came out ahead on immigration and leadership as the commander-in-chief. He actually gained after the debate on the economy, so he was 20 points up on that issue alone. Then there were the remarks of some of the in the CBS focus group who had similar thoughts, saying that Kamala Harris just repeated Biden's lines, but that she was doing all these things. Why hasn't she already done these? The question that Donald Trump asked. If she's going to do all these things, what have you been doing for 3.5 years now? Why are you waiting till now to do all these great, to put all these great ideas you have to work? Now, here's the point. While media is looking at who won a battle, the medias want to declare a winner and a loser. The voters want to know what the candidates think on the issues. Harris didn't deliver on that by making faces at Trump, being nasty, and avoiding answering the moderator's questions, and the moderators failing to follow up when she does so. Similar to the CBS focus group, CNN had their own, along with polling. A CNN poll finds that most debate watchers, 55% to 35%, say President Trump would better handle the economy than Kamala Harris. And this gets back to what I've been telling you, is the economy stupid, according to James Carville. CNN commentator David Chalian describes what their polls are showing.
At the economy here, who would better handle the economy is what we ask. Going into the debate, before the debate, 37% said Harris, 53% Trump. After the debate, again, margin of error stuff here, but numerically she lost a little ground. 35% said so after the debate, that she would better handle the economy. 55% said Trump, and we know that is one of his strongest suits across the polling in this election, and he seemed to hang on to that piece in this debate tonight, according to our poll of debate watchers.
And some of the other flash polls seem to support what CNN found as well. Also, debate watchers gave Trump a 23-point advantage over Harris when it came to whom they trusted to handle immigration, and a 6-point edge on handling the role of commander-in-chief. Again, this is the same CNN poll. Reuters, they had a focus group, and it really shows this difference in perception and focus between the media and the voters. For example, Reuters interviewed 10 people who were still unsure how they were going to vote in the November 5th election before they watched the debate. 6 said afterwards that they would now vote for Donald Trump or were leaning towards him. 3 said that they would now back Harris, and 1 is still unsure as to how he will vote. 5 said that they found Harris vague during the more than 90-minute debate on how she would improve the U.S. economy and deal with the high cost of living, which, again, is a top concern of voters. And that's the thing. She was vague. Kamala Harris didn't tell us anything we didn't already know. Kamala Harris, yes, she did come across as doing better in the debate. She seemed to have prepared answers. And quite honestly, I was concerned. But after getting some of the response from some of these polls and focus groups, I'm going to have to say shame on me for falling for some of this, because the voters are smarter than the media thinks. And kudos to the voters for paying attention, which I was afraid they had not. The 6 said that they trusted Trump more on the economy, and that their personal financial situation had been better when he was president between 2017 and 2021. 4 of those 6 also said that Harris did not convince them that she would pursue different economic policies than Democrat President Joe Biden. And this was another issue that a number of other polls seem to confirm, is that people do not believe, yes, she looked good, she sounded good, but people didn't believe that her solutions are really solutions. They don't believe that she's going to take action or that she's capable of taking action. So, what's the translation of all this? Harris tried to play games to avoid the questions. We saw her do it many times. And she tried to attack Trump. But she wasn't answering the questions people wanted to hear from her. She wasn't giving people the information they wanted, the answers that they need. And they noticed. People noticed. She didn't say how she would be different or enough about her own plans. In fact, she didn't even have any plans. And that was one of the things Donald Trump pointed out multiple times, that she has no plans. They know things were better before and under Donald Trump, and that's the most important takeaway. People are not forgetting why they've been supporting Donald Trump all along, why he has been consistently winning in all the polls, and particularly when it comes to asking questions about the economy. And the poor debate performance for Trump on Tuesday, with everyone, myself included, saying that he missed opportunities, don't seem to have affected the confidence that people have in Donald Trump for doing the right thing and being able to get things accomplished. ABC News not checking her statements or pressing her actually may have made things worse for Kamala Harris. They had this little sweetheart deal, and ABC was helped her every way they could, but maybe it hurt her more than it helped her. It looks biased. It looks bad, and people notice that too. She never had to say what her positions are, so people still don't know. And people wanted to know. They wanted to come out of the debate on Tuesday with more information about who Kamala Harris is. They didn't. Mark Kadish, 61-year-old entrepreneur from Florida, said, "I still don't know what she's for. There was no real meat and bones for her plans. She spent too much time focusing on attacking Trump than laying out details of her policies." Why? Because there are no details. She doesn't know what the details are of her policy. She's just talking in generalities with no clear plan on how she's going to accomplish those. Robert Wheeler, 48, a security firm executive in Nevada, was leaning towards Harris before the debate. He now says that if the election were held tomorrow, he would vote for Trump, largely because he thought Harris didn't provide clarity on her policies. He said, "I felt like the whole debate was Kamala Harris telling me why not to vote for Donald Trump instead of why she's the right candidate." Good point. Good point. Your comments are welcome on the Firmin Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. That's 864-477-5639. Emails always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. PhD Weight Loss wants you to know, yes, you can. You can get back to your ideal healthy weight. Yes, you can get back into sizes you thought you'd never see again. And yes, you can get rid of that harmful belly fat, all without becoming dependent on medication loaded with side effects. Hi, it's Joey Hudson here. PhD Weight Loss encourages and equips you to lose weight the healthy, natural way and keep it all for the rest of your life. Dr. Ashley Lucas, a licensed registered nutritionist, developed a solid plan that works. Trust me, I lost 30 pounds. You see, PhD Weight Loss removes the guesswork. They literally tell you exactly what to eat each day while you watch the pounds melt away. But they also teach you to think about food differently and to learn to anticipate and navigate situations that make you want to indulge. PhD coaches will teach you to believe finally that yes, you can do it. With no gimmicks or lifelong medications, finally lose the weight and keep it off. Yes, you can. Call today. PhD Weight Loss, 864-644-1900. That's 864-644-1900, or go to myphdweightloss.com. You know, there's been a lot of discussion since the 2020 election about mail-in ballots. 2020 was a disaster. I don't care what you say about it. It was a disaster. And yes, Joe Biden and the Democrats can talk about how we had to have some exceptions because of COVID. But in the end, they use COVID as an excuse to cheat. And they did it using the U.S. mail, which is a federal offense, right? Well, get this. And look, I'm sure they're trying to figure out how they're going to do it again this year. And they're going to use mail-in ballots as much as they can. State and local election officials, though, from across the country yesterday warned that problems with the mail delivery system threatens to disenfranchise voters in the upcoming presidential election, telling the head of the U.S. Postal Service that it hasn't fixed persistent deficiencies. So now we can't even trust that the U.S. Postal Service can deliver those mail-in ballots. It was described by Newsmax as an alarming letter. The official said that over the past year, including the just concluded primary season, mailed ballots that were postmarked on time were received by local election officials days after the deadline to be counted. They also noted that properly addressed election mail was being returned to them as undeliverable, a problem that could automatically send voters to inactive status through no fault of their own, potentially creating chaos when those voters do show up to cast a ballot. I have the solution for this, and it's real simple. And if you've been listening to me for any length of time, you know what I'm about to say, don't you? Show up on election day and vote. Go in person. Complete your ballot. Put it in the ballot box yourself, and you don't have to worry about whether or not the U.S. Postal Service is going to deliver it. It takes all of that, all of the questions away because you put it in the ballot box yourself. Why are people so resistant to voting in person on election day? What is this? The officials who were quoted in the Newsmax article, said that repeated outreach to the Postal Service to resolve the issues had failed, and that the widespread nature of the problems made it clear that there were not one-off mistakes or a problem with specific facilities. Instead, it demonstrates a pervasive lack of understanding and enforcement of United States Postal Service policies among its employees. Basically, that you can't trust the Postal Service to do their job. Now, I don't want to get in trouble here, because I don't want to paint this with a broad brush about the Postal Service. There's some great postal employees. In my area, my home, I have some wonderful mail carriers. They go above and beyond the call of duty. Because, quite often now, they're having to deliver Amazon packages. And some of those packages will not go in to my mailbox. And I have a pretty big mailbox. I've got one of those oversized mailboxes. And I've got a couple of carriers who they have to get out of their vehicle. And if it's at my home in Greer, they have to drive down a long driveway to get to the house. But they do it, and they put it on my front porch. At Lake Kiowee, they pull over and they walk down, and they put it on our front porch there as well. So I don't want to say that all mail carriers don't do their job. It's like any job. You got some who take their job seriously, and they want to do the best job they can. You have others who are slack. They just want to collect the check, not do their job. And I think that's the breakdown with the Postal Service. This letter to the U.S. Postmaster General, Louis DeJoy, came from two different groups that represent top election administrators in all 50 states. They told DeJoy, quote, "We have not seen improvement or concerted efforts to remediate our concerns. We implore you to take immediate and tangible corrective actions to address the ongoing performance issues with the United States Postal Service election mail service. Failure to do so will risk limiting voter participation and trust in the election process." Well, yes, it will. If people are mailing their ballots and their ballots aren't being counted, of course they're not going to trust the process. But again, I get back to go vote at your polling place, and don't even put the U.S. Postal Service in the equation. Use the Postal Service to send birthday cards and anniversary cards and to mail packages to your son or daughter at college, Christmas gifts. Use the Postal Service for things like that, but don't use the Postal Service for important things like delivering your ballot. Go to the poll and do it yourself. Now, in response, the Postal Service said yesterday they offered the Postmaster General DeJoy's assurances that it's well positioned to, quote, "swiftly deliver election mail despite being in the midst of a network modernization that has caused some delivery hiccups. Mail is currently being delivered in 2.7 days on average," they said, but the Postal Service is still urging voters not to procrastinate. In other words, don't put it in the mail the day before or the day of. Adrian Marshall, Director of Election Mail and Government Services, said in a statement, "We are ready to deliver. We were successful in 2020 delivering a historic volume of mail-in ballots, also in 2022, and will do so again in November 2024. The two groups, the National Association of Secretaries of State and the National Association of State Election Directors, said that local election officials in nearly every state are receiving timely postmarked ballots after Election Day and outside the 3 to 5 business days that the Postal Service claims as the standard for first-class mail. The letter comes less than 2 weeks after DeJoy said in an interview that the Postal Service was ready to handle a flood of mail-in ballots expected as part of this November's presidential elections. And they wonder why Donald Trump doubts the system, that he in their words, sows seeds of doubt about the U.S. elections by falsely claiming he won in 2020. Who knows? Who knows how many ballots were not properly accounted for in 2020? We'll never know the answer to that, but we got to move forward. And I'm glad Trump said what he did in the debate the other night. 2020 is behind us. We're looking at November 2024 in 50 plus days from now. And this gets back to what you and I can do for the November elections, and that's encourage people as soon as early voting starts. Start taking your friends, take your elderly friends who can't drive, take them and have them vote. That's what we have to do. That's our job between now and November. Your comments are welcome on the Firmin Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. That's 864-477-5639. Emails always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Whether you're replacing a broken appliance or maybe you're just upgrading, you're totally remodeling the kitchen, when it's time to get those new appliances, when you're ready for them, you don't want to have to wait weeks or even months to get started using them, right? Well, that's not the case when you shop with my friends at Discounted Appliance Warehouse. With over 11,000 square feet and 1,500 appliances at any given time, you can buy today and use today quite often. I'm talking about shopping with my friends at Discounted Appliance Warehouse in Pickens. It's worth the short drive over to Pickens. Jeff, Johnny, Kyle, the whole team over there, they'll take good care of you. They have an award-winning service department, expert installation, extended warranties, and at Discounted Appliance Warehouse, they treat you like family. You're more than just a credit card swipe to all the team over there. Discounted Appliance Warehouse, they're proud to offer Speed Queen, the only washer and dryers with manufacturer's warranties that cover parts and labor. You owe it to yourself if you're looking for a new appliance to head over to Pickens to Discounted Appliance Warehouse online at dawpickens.com, dawpickens.com. Remember in the debate on Tuesday when President Trump talked about the illegal Haitians eating animals in Springfield, Ohio? It's been a story that has been reported on quite a bit this week. The ABC moderators immediately claimed that they had confirmed with the city manager of Springfield that there was not a problem. They very matter-of-factly rebuked Donald Trump, saying that they had confirmed with the city manager in Springfield that these stories were fabricated. No truth to them. You remember this? You remember the moment in the debate? So if ABC is right, I have a question for you. Riddle me this, Batman. Why was Ohio Governor Mike DeWine, why is he ordering state troopers and additional funding sent to this suffering city of Springfield, Ohio, to deal with a major influx of Haitian illegal immigrants dropped off there by the Biden-Harris regime? Why is that happening? Here's the story. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine announced new state support for the city of Springfield, which is dealing with a significant amount of illegal Haitians descending upon his city, which is stressing its healthcare and public safety systems due to the thousands and thousands of these Haitian migrants over these past several years. Governor DeWine said, "I want the people of Springfield and Clark County to know that as we move forward, we will continue to do everything we can to help the community deal with this surge of migrants. The federal government has not demonstrated that they have any kind of plan to deal with the issue. We will not walk away." Well, of course, the federal government doesn't have any plans. The federal government thinks that this is a local issue. The federal government, the Biden-Harris campaign, just dropped them off in your neighborhood and expecting you to take care of them. That's how they deal with things like this. That's how they operate. That's how the border czar handles these issues. She dumps them in your backyard. You got to take care of them. Now, according to reports, the influx of Haitians to Springfield and again, Clark County in that area has significantly impacted local primary care providers due to the increased number of patients and the need for more translation services. In general, migrants from Haiti have little to no health care services prior to arriving in the U.S., including vaccinations. They don't have some of the basic medical care in Haiti. Governor DeWine announced just yesterday that he's dedicating $2.5 million towards expanding primary care access for everyone living in Springfield. Now, who's going to pay for this? The people of Ohio, the taxpayers, the hard workers of Ohio, as if they don't have enough problems of their own, paying their own rent, buying their own groceries, filling their vehicles up with gas. Now they've got their state's going to spend millions of their tax dollars taking care of these illegals. Governor DeWine has directed the Ohio Department of Health to work with the Clark County Health Department and other health care providers on this effort, according to the governor's office. The idea is to address the increase in dangerous driving in Springfield because here's the other problem, and who would have ever thought about this? With a lot of inexperienced Haitian drivers buying vehicles somehow, or being given vehicles. I don't know how they get the vehicles, but they don't know how to drive. And they disregard traffic laws. So Governor DeWine has directed the Ohio State Highway Patrol to support the Springfield Police Department with traffic enforcement. He said beginning immediately, the Ohio State Highway Patrol will patrol local roads with the highest crash rates and hold accountable any driver who drives erratically and risks the safety of others. Wow. And ABC says there's no problems in Springfield, that everything's okay in Springfield. There are two initiatives that the governor is adding to support that the state's already provided. For example, they're going to create a school-based health clinic in the Springfield City School District to expand primary care access for school children and their parents throughout the community. Now, let me ask you this. How many parents of American citizens are given that same health care at the schools of their kids? I think you know the answer. In addition, the governor is going to increase support for vaccinations and health screenings through the local health department, and they're going to allocate additional funds to the Clark County Department of Job and Family Services for translation services. They come here, they don't know how to speak English. But that's just the tip of this iceberg. RedState.com reports that despite ABC David Muir thoroughly debunking the story of Haitians eating family pets during the presidential debate this week, and quoting what they called a single Springfield city functionary, that's supposedly the city manager, who claimed that there were no credible reports. Now, you have to ask yourself, what did this person define as credible? There seems to be at least some anecdotal evidence supporting this charge. For example, a recording of what is being identified as a leaked 911 call has a man calling in to report suspicious activity of Haitians putting geese in a pickup truck.
Clark County Communications.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I got a question. This is a non-emergency line, correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. I'm sitting here. I'm riding on the trail going to my orientation for my job today, and I see a group of Haitian people. There was about 4 of them. They all had geese in their hand. They got away. I couldn't make out the first 3 of the license plate, but I got the numbers. The last numbers was 9898, and it was a gray Toyota Tacoma they took off on. There was about 4 of them. There was 2 men, 2 women. I couldn't tell the age because I'm in a hurry going to this orientation, so I don't be late.
What direction did they go?
They went up towards the middle of towards downtown.
Okay, and what path are you on?
Right now, hold on just a second. I'm coming to the intersection of. Give me a second here. It says Water and Warder Street.
Water and Warder. Is that the area you saw them?
Yes. It was about 2 minutes back behind me. I was trying to get my phone out and trying to make it to this orientation on time. I'm time crunching here. And I saw that. I'm like, yeah, this has got to be reported.
So how many geese did they have?
They each had 1. Now, the Toyota Tacoma did look like a newer model.
And what's your name, sir?
My name is... It's hot out here today.
I'm sorry, what's your last name again? Your phone number is that... Okay, we will put this out to our cars and see if we can't find them. Thank you so much for calling in.
You're welcome, and if I happen to see them again, I'll try to give you a call back and get a better license plate for you.
All right, you tell me. Is that not suspicious? I mean, why would they be putting geese in their truck. They're certainly not looking for pets, I don't think. And there have been multiple reports. You can just do a quick Google, and I was able to find many reports of people, a video of people talking on the streets about seeing them with animals. There's also evidence that fundamental law and order is breaking down under the weight of the unsupported arrival of these 15,000 plus in a city of only less than 60,000, where most of the illegals seem to be military-age males. Swamping the city with Haitian illegals, even when they aren't consciously involved in crime, is creating a body count on the highways, again, as these unlicensed drivers are having accidents frequently. Now, the Democrat mayor, Rob Rule, in fairness to him, according to Red State, he was just elected about a year ago, seems to be firing distress signals and being ignored. There are signs that the community may be planning a rebellion. Governor DeWine, maybe he's too little too late. He's obviously known about the crisis for a while, and it wasn't until the stories of the Haitians literally eating cats and dogs that made national news when he acted. But it gets even worse. Red State talks about a factory CEO singing the praises of illegal labor and comparing American labor unfavorably to them. Here's another video that was produced by PBS as a news story.
Mirsu says he came to Springfield for the same reason most Haitians did. He heard that housing was cheap and jobs were plentiful.
It started slowly. We had an application pool that was a little bit different.
People coming to work here.
People looking for jobs. What he's welding here again are welded axle components.
Jamie McGregor is the CEO of McGregor Metal, which makes welded parts for the auto and farm industries. Right now, about 10% of his workforce is Haitian, over 30 employees.
I wish I had 30 more. Our Haitian associates come to work every day. They don't have a drug problem. They'll stay at their machine. They'll achieve their numbers. They are here to work. And so in general, that's a stark difference from what we're used to in our community.
McGregor acknowledges the sudden arrival of so many new immigrants is a challenge on multiple fronts, but he believes this is partly how the industrial Midwest can regrow.
We want more jobs in our community. And in order to fill those jobs, some jobs need to be people who are not originally from here.
There's things in the last 5 years that have really changed and has been a forward improvement for Springfield, but this is taxing the resources of the city. Well, afterwards.
Springfield's mayor, Rob Rue, says he was cautiously optimistic when the first Haitians settled in town. But then their numbers quickly rose. The city estimates 12 to 15,000 Haitians are here now.
The infrastructure of the city, our safety forces, our hospitals, our schools. Springfield is a close community and has a big heart, but at the same point, we've had this influx that has taxed all these services.
Hope you'll join the conversation today. 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Send your comments to the Firmin Ford text line. You can leave a quick voice message, and your emails are always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Speaking of the Firmin Ford text line, it's never been more important to support locally run businesses owned by people who actually live here in the upstate. Let me take a minute to talk with you about our friends at Firmin Ford. If you're looking for a new vehicle, maybe a great pre-owned vehicle, one you can trust, or maybe you're looking to order that special vehicle. Either way, if you want a new one, a brand new one, or a pre-owned that you can trust, the folks at Firmin Ford, they're there to help you. Their name is on the sign because their name is on the line, because every single transaction is important to them. Jim Firmin, Matthew Firmin. They do business the right way. When you stop by, when you give them a call, or maybe when you just send them a quick email, you're always going to have access to a member of the Firmin Ford family. And by the way, they also offer great service, and you're not going to have to wait weeks and weeks to get it done. And you do not have had to purchase your vehicle at Firmin Ford. Doesn't even have to be a Ford. They service all makes and models. Visit my friends at Firmin Ford online at firminford.com, firminford.com. One other quick note before we get into your text messages. I've got a lot of text messages from you. But back to the story we talked about a minute ago concerning the U.S. Postal Service and ballots in November. Also yesterday, the U.S. government announced that they will increase security for Congress when they certify the results of the November 5th elections, which is set to be done on January the 6th to avoid a repeat of the 2021 attack on the Capitol by protesters looking to disrupt the proceedings over claims of voter fraud. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security has designated the congressional certification of the election as a national special security event, according to the Secret Service in a statement yesterday. This designation allows the federal government, state, and local resources to be dedicated to the security operation, according to the feds. It also puts the Secret Service in charge of the security plan. The Secret Service said the designation was recommended in reports by Congressional Probe and a watchdog investigation into the 2021 Capitol attacks. Of course, we know that Trump was declared the loser in 2020 to Democrat President Joe Biden, who claimed victory. For weeks after his loss, Trump urged Congress not to certify the election result. His supporters, after a rally on the Capitol Square, a number of people went down and things got out of hand. Just that simple. In an attempt to try to pressure Congress not to certify Joe Biden's win. You feel better that Secret Service is going to be offering protection? Wow. After they allow what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania, you think they can guard the U.S. Congress? We'll see. On the text line, still getting a lot of feedback from Tuesday's debate. Tony writes, Joey, I didn't watch the debate because I knew Trump was walking into a trap and would be sabotaged with questions from the libtard moderators. He should have known better than to accept a debate on ABC. And why do people care about endorsements? They mean absolutely nothing to me. Texter, this is Albert, says, within 10 minutes of the debate starting, I text a friend that the commentators were completely biased against Trump. My hope is that the uncommitted voters watching the debate realize now how one-sided the mainstream media is. I still find it hard to believe that there are uncommitted voters at this stage in the game. Have they been under anesthesia for the last 4 years? They're going to have to wake up if they have been. And by the way there, Albert, I hope you're listening today. I think that now that we are getting some of the results from the polls and some of the focus groups, as I've talked with you about today, those uncommitted voters, those undecided voters, I don't know that Kamala Harris actually persuaded them. I don't know that they fell for her lack of answers. At least these initial polls are showing that she was not successful. Ace writes, Joey, Kamala had to have had help. Trump spoke straight from the heart, even though he got off course several times. Kamala was definitely prepped. Some say that she had an earpiece in. You know, a lot of you sent me this idea of an earpiece. Chris, for example, said, Joey, I believe Kamala may have been wearing some type of these earrings last night during the debate. I could be wrong, but the way that they're playing us, I feel like someone was talking to her. I truly believe she had all the questions for the debate. Now, Scott and others also sent me a similar note with photos of these suspicious-looking earrings. I haven't confirmed this. A lot of you text this to me, though. Some of you have emailed it. By the way, your emails are welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. But it's a certain brand of earrings. You can find it on Google after some of you sent it to me. I did a couple of searches myself, and it easily pops up. But it's a brand of earrings that looks similar to what Kamala has. There's a couple of photos circulating online of zoomed-in shots of her ears and the earrings that she had. I noticed them the other night because I was looking to see if she might have had some type of earpiece in. I didn't see an earpiece. But if these earrings that some of you sent me, if she had those, I might be suspicious. I don't know. And look, I don't know that it matters anymore. That one's behind us. Maybe there'll be another one. Maybe there won't be. Joanne writes, here's my take on the debate. It's really for undecided voters. My pet peeve is that the candidates know that they have 2 minutes for closing arguments and they don't use it to speak to the majority. The economy and the border. What are you going to do? How is it different from the other party? Seems like a squandered opportunity. And I think Joanne is frustrated like so many others that I've heard from that were frustrated that Donald Trump maybe didn't take full advantage of some of his time. By the way, did you see the story and the video that's circulating from yesterday? Joe Biden briefly put on a red MAGA cap, a Trump cap, during a visit to a fire station in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, where he was mingling with first responders after marking the 23rd anniversary of September 11th. The video, which was obtained by conservative influencer Benny Johnson, shows a Trump supporter who handed the president his red Trump 2024 hat. He said, "I'm proud of you now, you old fart." Called the president an old fart. Evidently, though, according to the footage, it looks like Biden was trying to get him to put on a cap. And so Biden agreed, okay, you put my cap on, I'll put your cap on. The White House Senior Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates wrote on X, at the Shanksville Fire Department, POTUS spoke about the country's bipartisan unity after 9/11 and said we needed to get back to that. As a gesture, he gave a hat to a Trump supporter who then said that in the same spirit, POTUS should put on his Trump cap. POTUS briefly wore it. Wow. And there's photos being widely circulated. And in addition to the video, you can find the video. Just go to X or Facebook. It's being circulated there of Joe Biden putting on this cap. Now, you know, Joe Biden had to have known that when he put that Donald Trump cap on, somebody was going to take his picture, that somebody had their phone videotaping it. He had to have known that. Don't you know that some of his handlers are just wringing their hands thinking, how much longer do we have? How much longer do we have to follow this bumbling idiot around? He put a Donald Trump cap on. More power to him. Supporters of the Republican nominee were less supportive, saying, let's see, this was from the Trump War Room. Kamala did so bad in last night's debate, Joe Biden just put on a Trump hat, insinuating that Biden has switched candidates. Earlier, Biden had taken beer and pizza to the firehouse after participating in a wreath-laying ceremony where United Airlines Flight 93 was taken down by Al-Qaeda. And ironically, remember during the debate when Trump said that he thought about sending Kamala Harris a MAGA cap? Well, I guess President Joe Biden has one after all. That's it for today's edition of Just the Truth. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studio. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you haven't joined our mailing list yet, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Just click on the Connect with Joey button so that you can receive our emails and the most up-to-date news. Also, find me on YouTube. Be sure and like, subscribe, follow me on my YouTube channel. Just search for Joey Hudson. Appreciate you spending a few minutes of your day with me. Be sure and forward this edition of Just the Truth to some friends. Just click on the share button. Send it to a few of your contacts, because if we're going to build our community and if we're going to win in November, we got to build an army of conservatives. The way we beat Joe Biden is through educating people, and no better way than encouraging them to listen to Just the Truth. Hey, keep those comments coming via the Firmin Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Your emails always welcome as well. Joey@joeyhudson.com. Don't forget to take advantage of the MyPillow special, $25 for the My Towels 6-piece towel set when you use promo code Joey. Just go to mypillow.com. Always use promo code Joey. We're back again tomorrow. Hope you will be too. Remember, God's got this. He's still in control.